Long before animals walked across continents, before forests resembled anything familiar, and before flowers added color to the world, Earth was home to forms of plant life so strange that they seem almost impossible today. These were not the trees, grasses, or fruits known now, but alien structures, towering, spiraling, and sometimes unrecognizable as plants at all. Their shapes defy expectation, their survival strategies challenge modern understanding, and their disappearance leaves behind a silent mystery written only in stone. One of the most baffling life forms ever discovered is Prototaxites. For years, scientists struggled to even classify it. Fossils reveal towering column-like structures that rose up to 8 meters high, dominating landscapes roughly 420 to 375 million years ago during the Silurian and early Devonian periods. At a time when most plants were no taller than a few centimeters, Prototaxites stood like a solitary pillar in a low green world. Its surface shows growth rings similar to tree trunks, but internally it lacks the structure of wood. Some researchers once believed it was a giant fungus, while others suggested it could be an entirely unique, extinct lineage of life. Even today, debate continues. What is certain is that it occupied a world where ecosystems were still forming, feeding off organic material in primitive soils, possibly acting as a recycler in an environment just beginning to support complex life. As plant life began to colonize land more aggressively, another bizarre form appeared, Cooksonia. At first glance, it seems simple, almost unimpressive. Tiny, leafless stems branching like delicate forks, each tipped with a small bulb. But Cooksonia represents something extraordinary. It is among the earliest known vascular plants, living around 430 million years ago. This means it had internal structures capable of transporting water and nutrients, a crucial evolutionary step that allowed plants to grow upright and survive away from constant moisture. Its simplicity hides its importance. Without plants like Cooksonia, the vast forest that would later dominate Earth could never have existed. Its strange, minimalist form reflects a world experimenting with life on land for the very first time. Then came the forests, but not as expected. During the Devonian period, the planet saw the rise of Archaeopteris, a plant that blurred the line between fern and tree. It could grow up to 30 meters tall with a woody trunk and spreading branches, yet it reproduced using spores rather than seeds. This combination of features makes it unlike any modern plant. Archaeopteris formed some of the earliest true forests, dramatically transforming the planet. Its roots stabilized soil, reducing erosion, while its leaves increased oxygen levels and altered atmospheric composition. It played a key role in shaping Earth's climate, possibly even contributing to cooling trends by drawing down carbon dioxide. Its extinction marked the end of a transitional era, replaced by more advanced seed-producing trees that would come to dominate future landscapes. Equally strange were the lepidodendron trees of the Carboniferous period, often called scale trees due to the diamond-shaped patterns covering their trunks. These towering giants could reach heights of over 50 meters, yet they were not true trees in the modern sense. Their internal structure was relatively weak, relying on a thick outer bark for support. Instead of growing rings like modern trees, they grew rapidly and lived relatively short lives. At their peak, they formed dense swamp forests that stretched across vast regions of what is now North America and Europe. These forests were humid, oxygen-rich environments where giant insects thrived. When lepidodendron forests died, they were buried and eventually transformed into coal deposits, meaning their ancient remains still power modern civilization. Their disappearance is closely linked to climate changes and the collapse of swamp ecosystems, as shifting conditions made their unique biology unsustainable. Another remarkable plant from this era is Sigillaria, closely related to lepidodendron but equally unusual. Its tall, straight trunk bore vertical rows of leaf scars, giving it a patterned, almost engineered appearance. It thrived in the same swampy environments, using shallow root systems that spread widely rather than deeply. This adaptation worked well in waterlogged soils, but made the plant vulnerable to environmental shifts. As the Carboniferous period gave way to drier conditions, these giants could not adapt quickly enough, and their dominance faded. Moving forward in time, the Mesozoic era introduced a different kind of strangeness. This was the age of cycads, Bennettitails, and other seed plants that predate modern flowering species. Among them, Bennettitails stand out as particularly enigmatic. They resembled cycads with stout trunks and crown-like leaves, but their reproductive structures were unlike anything seen today. Some scientists believe they may have had flower-like organs, possibly pollinated by early insects. If true, this would suggest that complex plant-insect relationships began far earlier than once thought. Yet Bennettitalis vanished by the end of the Cretaceous period, possibly due to competition from true flowering plants, which evolved more efficient reproductive strategies. In the same era, another peculiar plant thrived, Glossopteris. This seed fern dominated the southern continents during the Permian period, covering vast areas of what is now Antarctica, South America, Africa, and India. Its tongue-shaped leaves are found in fossil records across these continents, providing key evidence for the theory of continental drift. Glossopteris lived in cold seasonal climates, even surviving near polar regions. Its ability to adapt to harsh conditions made it incredibly successful successful, yet it did not survive the Permian-Triassic mass extinction, the most devastating extinction event in Earth's history. The reasons for its disappearance likely involve rapid climate shifts, volcanic activity, and collapsing ecosystems. Not all bizarre plants were giants. Some were strange in more subtle ways. Consider the early horsetails, ancestors of modern Equisetum. In the Carboniferous period, these plants could grow as tall as trees, with hollow, jointed stems and brush-like leaves arranged in rings. Their structure is so distinct that even today they stand apart from most plant groups. Back then, they played a major role in swamp ecosystems, contributing to the dense vegetation that defined the era. Over time, their dominance faded, leaving behind only small descendants that hint at their once impressive stature. The evolution of flowering plants, or angiosperms, brought new forms of strangeness. Early flowers were not the vibrant, diverse structures seen today, but experimental designs in reproduction. Some extinct species had unusual arrangements of petals and reproductive organs that do not fit neatly into modern classifications. These plants were part of an evolutionary explosion that reshaped ecosystems, introducing new relationships between plants and animals. Insects became pollinators, fruits developed to attract seed dispersers, and plant diversity expanded rapidly. Yet many early forms did not survive, replaced by more specialized descendants. Throughout Earth's history, extinction has been a constant force shaping plant life. Climate change, shifting continents, volcanic eruptions, and asteroid impacts have repeatedly altered the conditions necessary for survival. Plants that once dominated entire continents could vanish within relatively short geological periods, leaving only fossilized impressions as evidence of their existence. What makes these ancient plants so fascinating is not just their appearance, but what they reveal about the nature of life itself. Evolution does not move in a straight line. It experiments, adapts, and sometimes produces forms that seem strange or even impractical by modern standards. Many of these bizarre plants were perfectly suited to their environments, thriving for millions of years before conditions changed. Their legacy is still present today. The coal formed from ancient forests fuels industries. The oxygen produced by early plants made complex life possible. The evolutionary innovations they pioneered, vascular systems, seeds, leaves, are the foundation of modern ecosystems. Even the most unusual forms contributed to the stability and transformation of the planet. Looking back at these lost worlds, it becomes clear that what seems normal today is only a snapshot in a much longer story. The plants that now cover Earth are the survivors of countless trials, shaped by extinction and adaptation. The bizarre forms of the past remind us that life can take unexpected paths, creating worlds that are both unfamiliar and deeply connected to the one that exists now. And somewhere in the fossil record, there may still be undiscovered species, plants so strange that they challenge everything currently understood. Their stories remain buried, waiting to reveal how truly extraordinary the history of life on Earth has been.